Okay. My name is Tanae, aka Tiny Mamas. Tinier Mamas is back there taking a nap right now, but I'm gonna let you guys see her for a second before the video is over. She's probably gonna wake up. She's probably gonna wake up before then. But anyway, this is gonna be my labor and delivery story. I was originally gonna give birth at a birthing center, and if I had, I would have been allowed to film. But since I had to give birth in their hospital, their rules were a little different, and unfortunately I was not allowed to record any video or audio while I was there. I was only allowed to take pictures, and only of like I couldn't take pictures of like, you know, surgical procedures happening. Not that we were gonna do that anyway, but you know, that was all that we could do. So anyway, my labor and delivery story is still great. Please excuse the scarf. I'm deep conditioning my hair right now. This is how it went. My labor was a complete shock to me. I was due December 19th, 2021. I was still working. I planned on working originally for up to 2 weeks before my due date, and then that changed to 1 week before my due date because I just wanted to work, like, you know, get one more paycheck just to have some extra money, just to make sure me and baby girl were going to be good while I was on leave. I was not getting a paid maternity leave. I'm really not even on maternity leave. I just planned on quitting my temp job, and it just turned out that when I did give them notice, they let me know that I can, you know, contact them whenever I'm ready to come back, and things will be, you know, everything will be all good. So that was cool. But anyway, so yeah, so I worked third shift, so I get home at like 6 a.m. So I got home at 6 a.m. from work. I'm thinking it's a regular morning. So, you know, I had a little snack, like a chocolate cupcake, chocolate muffin, usually what I would eat when I got home from work. Got in bed. I was watching some YouTube videos. Didn't plan on going to sleep till like 10 a.m. But while I'm watching the YouTube videos, suddenly I started getting what I thought were Braxton Hicks cramps, and I had been getting them for like 3 weeks or so. So that was like nothing unusual to me. But keep in mind that I did lose part of my mucus plug the day before this. It was small and it was completely white. There was no bloody show, and I know that you can lose part of it and it can, like, you know, regenerate or whatever. So I thought that's what was happening, but apparently I was wrong. So yeah, I'm feeling this Braxton Hick like cramp, and then at the end of the cramp I hear and I feel, I'm sorry if you guys can hear my stepdad and his friend, they watching the game. At the end of the cramp I hear and feel this pop, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly how other people have described the sound of their water breaking. They always say they can hear it and it's a popping sound, and that's exactly what happened. But nothing happened. It just popped. Well, I heard a pop and then nothing. So I go back to watching my YouTube videos, and about 2 or 3 minutes later I kind of sat up a little in bed, and suddenly water just gushed all over the sheets, and I couldn't see it because I was still, you know, I was fully clothed. I could just feel it. And so at first I was scared, thinking that it was blood. So I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Because I'm like, it can't be my water breaking. Like, we still 3 weeks out. So I stand up and it gushes some more, and I look at it going down my leg and it's clear. So I'm like, okay, this is definitely my water breaking. I just kind of like just stood there for like 2 minutes just looking at it like, is this it? This can't be it. I still gotta work for another 2 weeks. I'm like, this is kind of not a great moment for this to be happening. But I'm just like, is this happening? Nah, maybe it's not happening. So I called my midwife. Well, I called the on-call midwife at the birth center, who happened to be the midwife that I had been seeing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my water just broke. I don't know what to do. What do I do? And she's like, well, in order to give birth at the birthing center, you have to be at least 37 weeks because that's considered full term. And you're only 36 weeks and 6 days. So you can't come here. You have to go to the hospital. I'm like, oh my God. Because like, it was like, there was two plans, or two parts of my plan that were just my birth plan that were just completely destroyed instantly because my water broke early. So that was like, that kind of messed up my money. And then now I can't give birth at the birth center and deliver in water in this kind of like dimly lit serene room with all my, not all my family, but you know, the family members and stuff that I wanted to be there. So that made me kind of sad, but I didn't really have time to be sad. I had to like, you know, get moving. And she tells me, I had got tested for the group B strep at my last appointment. And so she tells me that I tested positive for that, so I was going to need antibiotics. So I'm like, okay. I guess I wasn't thinking, so I was just like, okay, where do I get them? Like, do I go to the store and start taking them before? I was just asking, like, it was kind of stupid. And so anyway, she explained that they would give them to me when I got to the hospital, and she said she was going to call them, let them know everything, I was coming. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I get off the phone with her and I go get my mama. Cause she also just went to sleep because she picked me up from work. So I'm like, let me go get her and let her know what's going on. I was like, yeah, I think my water just broke. She was in bed, so she was like, what'd you say? I was like, I think my water just broke. And this woman jumped out the bed like a ninja. She said, okay. It's just like, she never moves like that or like quickly at all. So the fact that she jumped out the bed like that was hilarious. And she just like started getting ready and she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? You need to sit down. I'm like, I'm fine. I wasn't feeling any pain at that point. I had like a Braxton Hicks kind of sort of, I guess like 20 minutes after that. But other than that, I wasn't feeling anything. So yeah. She was freaking out. We had my midwife told me that we had about an hour. She said, like, you know, take some time, eat something, take a shower, and then make your way out of the house by this time. And I'm like, okay, cool. So my mama started getting ready. I called my doula up to let her know what was going on. And yeah, I took my shower. My water leaked again all over the bathroom floor. I didn't realize that when your water breaks, it breaks repeatedly. Like, I was not prepared for the amount of amniotic fluid. I just wasn't, like, because I gushed all over the bed the first time. Then I did all over the bathroom floor. Then once we went outside, my mom covered her whole back seat with towels. She wanted me to sit back there. And it's a good thing she did, because when we were on the way, I started having contractions, and every time a contraction came, it was just another flood of water. Just whoosh. It was like insane. And then once we got to the emergency room, I'm all over the wheelchair. I was like apologizing and stuff and feeling bad because I was getting the wheelchair in the emergency room soaking wet. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So took my shower. We left about an hour after the initial breaking of the waters. Like I said, I started having contractions while we were in the car. My contractions felt like, they didn't feel like period cramps. Thank God, because my period cramps are terrible. And I probably wouldn't have made it if they felt like period cramps. My contractions felt like my belly getting really, really tight in the front, combined with the feeling of like a really, really strong urge to pee, like so strong that it was, you know, a little painful. But like overall, the contractions that I was having, they were not like, they were nothing. I literally would just like be like, oh, okay. And that was more from like the water gushing while I was contracting. It wasn't even like the actual feeling of the contractions. So yeah, we get to the hospital, get to triage and everything. They confirmed that it's amniotic fluid coming out of me, which even they said was like, yeah, we really didn't have to do this, but we, you know, it was just a formality, because obviously your water is breaking right before our eyes, because I was doing it again all over the you know, hospital thing that they make you lay on. I don't know what that's called. Anyway, so after they confirmed that, they have me hooked up to the machine, like looking at my contractions, and they're like, oh, there's another one. Do you feel that? And I'm like, nope. So after that, some other people come in and they actually look inside to see the position of baby to make sure she's still head down, and she is, but she's like, her head is like off to the right of my body, her feet are to the left, like she's facing my left side, and so her head isn't right above my pelvis, but they like basically confirm that they don't really see her going any other way once I start to push, other than her head coming down first. So that was good. So yeah, after that they get me in a room. At this point it's probably like 9:30, like 9:30 or 10 a.m. No, it's like 11:30 or 12 p.m. because it took us like 50 minutes to even get there. It was all the way in Oak Park. So yeah, we in the room just chilling. The first 12 hours that I was in labor. You got something you want to say, mamas? I guess not. So the first 12 hours that I was in labor, I was not progressing at all. I was having the contractions at first for like a couple hours, and then after a while they just stopped. And when they checked me after 12 hours, I was still at a 1 centimeter dilated, so nothing was happening. And since my water had broke, they didn't want me to, you know, not progress for too long, because, you know, they said after like 18 hours, I think the baby would become more susceptible to infection. So they said after 12 hours that we were going to try some different methods to try to get my contractions going again and get labor like really starting. So the first thing we tried was using a breast pump. When I used the breast pump, the contractions instantly started again, and they were coming like really quickly. I had like 4 in maybe 7 minutes. But the issue was that they were noticing that every time I was having a contraction, the baby's heart rate was decelerating. They didn't know why that was happening, but obviously none of us liked that. They told me that they would better be able to control the contractions if they started me on Pitocin. I really did not want to do that. I actually cried about this, even though in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I just wanted, I wanted labor to progress naturally. I wanted everything to happen naturally. So I was just a little sad that that was another thing that I had to like cross off my birth plan. But it was whatever. I didn't want her heart rate to keep going down, and I definitely didn't want to get to the point where I was gonna have to have a C-section because I wasn't progressing. So they started me on the Pitocin, and once that started, I don't know how quickly I started having stronger contractions, but once that started, the contractions started to get more and more strong and more painful. They still weren't unbearable. They were just I felt that they were more painful, but they were nothing I couldn't just through, you know. So they checked me again a few hours later. I'm gonna say they gave me the Pitocin at like, okay, I did the breast pump. She's a little gassy. I did the breast pump at like 7:30 p.m. So I must have got the Pitocin at like 8:30 p.m. And so I would say they checked me again at around like midnight or maybe 1 in the morning, and I was 3 centimeters dilated. And 70% effaced. And they were like, oh, that's great progress. But to me, it really didn't feel like it was, because I was like, I don't know, it seemed like my labor is going to be really long if I'm only 3 centimeters dilated right now. And I've been here for, what's that, like 15 hours already? Yeah. So I wasn't happy about that, but I'm like, whatever. At this point, I'm just going with the flow. So after a little while later, my contractions started to get to the point where they were becoming unbearable. And to me, it felt like tremendous pressure, really low, like in my butt, like just extreme rectal pressure is what it felt like. And also that urge to pee, and the tightening in the front of my belly. So it was like I had to go poop, but like I could not hold it in. It felt like it was painful because it felt like I had to poop really bad and it was trying to come out, but I was trying to hold it in or something, but I wasn't. But that's what it felt like. So I told them that that's where the pain was, but I just didn't think, I know that that's what people say you feel when it's time to push, but they had just checked me like maybe 3 hours ago and I was only 3 centimeters and everything had been progressing so slowly. I really didn't think that it was time, but at the same time I knew it was time because the pain was just at that point where it couldn't not be time. So I told my doula and she asked if I was feeling it. Even when I wasn't having a contraction, I said yes. So she let the midwives know, because at this point I'm like begging for pain medication. So I actually said like I need something, because it's too much. And so they went to go get something that they could put in an IV for me, but before she put it in, she was like, let me check you first. And she checked me and she was like, okay, baby's head is right here. Can you contact so-and-so so we could get the room prepared for her to start pushing? And we were all like, what? Because literally like an hour before that, we were just talking about how long it was taking. And one of the midwives was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be meeting your baby today. Because, you know, they switched shifts at 7. And so this was like around 2 a.m. when she said this. And none of us thought that, we thought I was going to give birth the following afternoon. Like all the midwives and me and my mom and my doula, we had no idea that that she was about to say that I could start pushing. This was like 4 a.m. when she said this. No, like 4:30. Yeah, this was like 4:30 a.m. So, yeah. Michael, why you all in the video? You wanted to be sleep, so be sleep. Okay, so so I got up in the position like squatting basically. I had my hands up on the top of the bed, like where my head was resting. I was facing that with my hands up there and with my back to like the midwife, and with my knees on the bed. So, because I wanted, to give birth in an upright position. But that wasn't really working for me. Every time a contraction came, she told me to push, and I would, but I wasn't doing anything but pooping and probably giving myself hemorrhoids, because the poop was not like coming the way it should have been coming. I was really I felt like I was sitting on the toilet constipated. So we stopped at, my doula suggested that I get on my side. So I laid on my side, and every time a contraction came, I would push like they said. After about 30 minutes, so now it's 5 a.m. They were saying that they could see her head. So my doula, she's holding my knee up in the air, my left knee, I'm on my right side. And once they tell me that, I just felt like, I don't know, maybe I got a rush of adrenaline, because like pushing felt like almost nothing to me. Once they said like, I can see her head, I see her hair, push, long push, you can do it, long push, you're about to meet your baby, you're about to meet Michael. Like once they said all that, I was like, oh, I'm about to do this right now. Like that was all I needed to hear. Literally, I was like, I don't care if it's painful, I'm about to push her out right now. So I did in like 4 really deep breaths and long pushes, and I got her out in like 3 minutes. Ain't that right, baby girl? Ain't that right, mamas? Is she over there farting? So, where was I? Oh my God, so rude. But yeah, I pushed her out. Like, it felt like it went so quick, like it was such a blur. I just remember them giving me the mask, the oxygen mask, and I was just like, I just grabbed it. I didn't even know why they were giving it to me, because I don't know. They handed it to me, I grabbed it, and I just kept doing what I was doing. And I was just like, like screaming like a monster. Like for such a long time, just pushing as hard as I could. And next thing I knew, she was sliding out of me. Like I felt it. I wasn't looking down when she slid out, but I felt it. And as soon as I felt her out of me, I looked down. She had the cord around her neck. They were pulling it off, and I just saw this head full of hair, slick dark hair, and she was super pale, and she was just crying her heart out. Just, I'm like, oh my God. I was in like so much shock, I couldn't even cry. I just knew I was gonna cry when my baby was born. I didn't shed a single tear. I was just in shock, like looking at this baby like, oh my God, this baby just came out of me. Did this baby really just come out of me? That I really just pushed her out. And when I was pushing, I felt the ring of fire, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It just felt like kind of a dull burning sensation. But in my opinion, the contractions were way worse than pushing. Like those final contractions, when it was time to start pushing, that pain was the worst pain during the whole process. Pushing was nothing compared to that. So yeah. Pushed her out. She was 6 pounds 4 ounces, 19 inches long when she was born. I was so glad, because I was like, oh God, please don't let me have to push out a huge baby. But yeah, she was the perfect size. She was just perfect. As soon as they laid her on my chest, she reached for my nipple, and I thought it was just like a random thing, like, you know, not intentional. But then she kept doing it. Like, she did it multiple times, and I'm like, oh my God, this baby is so smart. Like, just already trying to get some milk. And not even with her mouth. Like, she took her hand and she's just grabbing at it. So after, you know, they put a heated blanket on both of us, and they weighed her after that and everything. While they were doing that, I was getting stitched up. I don't know how many stitches I got, but I can tell you I got a 3rd-degree tear all the way to my asshole. And they were stitching me up for a good hour and a half. That's probably my fault, because I pushed her out so fast, but you know, it was worth it. So after they did all that, they gave her back to me with a little hat on, and she got to lay on me and breastfeed, and her latch for the first time was like perfect, and everything was just perfect. I know I keep saying perfect, but it really was. Like, even though nothing went as planned at all, I was just so happy that I got to have my unmedicated vaginal birth like I wanted, even though it wasn't in water like I intended. But you know, it still happened. She was a healthy baby. We were both doing great after delivering her. Everybody was like telling me how great I did and how they were so proud of me. I'm like, really? I'm like, y'all didn't hear me scream? They like, I didn't hear you scream. I'm like, I scream, okay? But yeah, it was just so crazy, because I swear, it's just, I don't know, it felt like it happened so fast. Even though I was technically in labor for 22 hours, everything felt so fast. I just remember my doula the whole time just telling me, you can do it, you can do it. And I'm telling her, no, I can't do it, I can't do it. But I did it. And I had little Michael Sage, and she's everything. She didn't get any features from me except, I would say, her eyes and her lips. Everything else she got from her daddy. She got his straight dark hair, she got his nose, she got his dimples, she got his hairline that starts right above the eyebrows. She also got his she also got his eyebrows. She got hair on her arms that had to come from him, because it damn sure didn't come from me. She got his reddish skin. She got his long feet and toes. She just got everything from him. But I think she's a mommy's girl. I think she's gonna be a mommy's girl. So I'm gonna go grab her since she's over there making so much noise. Look at that milk mouth. Look at that milk mouth. She was making an ugly face. What you say, girl? I wanted you guys to see her face and her pretty eyes, but she's kind of knocked out over here. I'm sorry, baby. Oh, she growling at me. She does that a lot. I remember I reached to wake her up because it was time for her to eat. So she was sleeping her bassinet, and I just rubbed her and started taking her blanket off, and I was like, come on, mamas, it's time to eat. And she was like, Like, okay, my bad. I'm trying to feed you. I'm trying to help you. Yeah, she's knocked out. But she needs to wake up because she's gonna be up all night again if she stays asleep. But yeah, she's actually 6 weeks old today. Can't believe it's already been 6 weeks. Oh my God, like things are happening too fast. I've already noticed so many things that have changed about her. And it's just crazy to me. Like, I knew it was gonna go fast, but it's just way too fast. We're matching. Anyway, thank you for watching my labor and delivery story. I'm sorry I couldn't show you guys any video clips. I do have some pictures, even though I look like such a bum when I was in the hospital. But I'll show you guys the pictures. If you have any questions, like if I missed anything, or if there's something maybe you wanted to ask me, like something specific about my labor and delivery, or just labor and delivery in general, like, you know, things to look out for, I don't know, whatever you want to ask me, please do. Remember, I'm a first-time mom, so if you're a first-time mom and you have questions, especially about that, definitely let me know. I will answer to my best ability. But yeah, I'm gonna go wake tinier mamas up so she can eat some more yummy food and try to keep her up. We're gonna go play or something. Maybe we'll do tummy time again. We did it this morning, but maybe we'll do it again. I gotta do something to keep her up because she been up all night for the past 3 days and keeping me up all night with her, and we gotta fix that. She don't like that. I'm sorry. Say bye-bye. Bye, guys.